Hey guys, and welcome back to Clever Music. Bridget Daly here at the studios. We just had Andrew from Jack's Mannequin here, and he gave us the lowdown on their new album, People and Things, which is out now. So let's dive right into the album that comes out on October 4th, People and Things.
Let's.
So it's been about 3 years coming, right?
Yeah, it has been. You know, it doesn't feel like it's been that long to me, but it certainly will. Once this comes out, it'll be just shy of the 3-year mark when the last record came out.
So a good amount of time, good chunk of time for lots of writing, inspiration, lots of things to happen.
Absolutely.
I mean, immediately I have to ask, like, what is the difference between this album and the last one?
You know, I think the approach to it was considerably different. Both of the Jack's records were sort of made where, in the studio scenario, I would go in, I'd play the piano, and I would sing, and that would be kind of the track that would start the recording, and then sort of build in the band around that track. Mm-hmm. So that's more or less how most of the Jack's records have been made up to this point. With this record, it was a different approach. I had a big collection of songs that I had kind of amassed over the couple years between the release of the last record and when we started working on this in September of last year. And we just kind of moved out to a little place out in Joshua Tree, myself and my bandmates Jay and Bob, and we just kind of learned to play them, and we took that into the studio and we played them live, and then would kind of get the best take out of those, or edit together the best live takes, and then build the track around that. So there's a little bit more freedom. I think you hear a little bit more of the live sound of how the band's developed over the years. You kind of pick that up in the recording, I think.
Now, moving to somewhere like Joshua Tree, obviously very peaceful, out of the city, is definitely different than living somewhere like LA.
Absolutely.
How important is that for creativity and inspiration in the whole process?
Well, it was kind of an experiment. I made The Glass Passenger living in Los Angeles. I made a good amount of everything in transit living in Los Angeles. And I think it just got to the point where there were so many distractions here, and we were constantly traveling and touring, that it seemed to make sense to get ourselves to a place where we were out of the mix and not necessarily able to be distracted by what we see out this window here.
Yeah.
Because it can be difficult to focus, and so I think it was really important, and I think it helped the record a lot and helped us sort of connect, especially because this was a new method of recording, at least for Jack's.
Now, what would you say is like the underlying theme of the whole album? Does it have one steady theme throughout?
Yeah, I think it's largely about relationships and the people in my life, and sort of this idea of love and the concept of deeper love, and this thing about a love that you can't necessarily don't cut and run from, but you stick with and you work with, and I think that was really largely the foundation for this record.
So remember, People and Things is out in stores and on iTunes tomorrow, October 4th, so make sure to pick up a copy. You can also click the link below to hear Andrew's acoustic performance of their single, My Racing Thoughts. Thanks so much for tuning in to Clever Music, and I'll catch you next time.